What's up, guys? UFC Brazil is this weekend, and we've got an awesome lineup of fights in front of us. We've got Charles Oliveira versus Mateus Gamrot as the main event of the evening, and I'm here to break down every single fight, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event. But first, what we're going to do, you guys have a way of making money if you're broke. Join my Tapology group at tapology.com/groups/2048. You'll see it right here. I'll link it below. If you guys want to make $100 per pay-per-view just for making fight picks, it is completely free. All you have to do is sign up for Tapology, which is completely free to do. Join my Tapology group. Make your fight picks. That's it. If you end up winning our fight pick group, like how last week Big Stan, I believe, did. Yes. Big Stan last week won $100 from me. You just have to have CashApp. I will send it directly if you're the winner of each pay-per-view group. So when UFC 321 rolls around at the end of this month, I will be sending out $100 personally from myself. Anyways, back into the card. We are going to be starting with the early prelims. We have Simon Oliveira versus Luan Lacerda. I'm going to be picking Luan Lacerda. I know he's been off for a while, but he's more of a finisher than Simon Oliveira, and Simon Oliveira is just kind of not a fighter in my opinion. I think that Lacerda has that real fight kind of mentality. He's here to really chase a finish and actually harm his opponent, whereas Simon Oliveira is just here to not lose. I know that Simon Oliveira is a decent grappler, but I'm going to pick Luan Lacerda by submission round number 2. Moving on to a women's fight. Here we go. Alrighty. Well, she might submit her, maybe. Maybe. We'll just pick decision, though, just to be safe. Moving on. Lucas Rocha versus Stuart Nickel. I am going to be picking Stuart Nickel. I believe he's the much more technical fighter of the two, more physically dominant as well, if I'm not mistaken. I think Lucas Rocha is just kind of a weak flyweight. Yeah, I'm going to be picking Stuart Nickel by TKO round number 3. I think this will end up being a pretty solid fight. Oh, another women's fight. Here we go. Perfect. Submission. There we go, guys. We got Mosquito by decision. Or submission, I mean. Moving on to the next real fight, we've got Vitor Petrino fighting Thomas Peterson. Thomas the Twain Peterson is out here really representing. But I think Vitor Petrino, with lighter man skill, still being in here in the heavyweight division, and actually being in shape is going to help him. I think he's going to knock out Thomas the Train Peterson here. I think he's going to get this done in the first round, too. I think this is going to be the most impressive Vitor Petrino we've seen as of yet. I think that he is going to look highly improved in comparison to normal, and but it will just be because Thomas the Train Peterson is not that great of a fighter. Yeah, moving on. We are going back down to the flyweight division. We've got Jafel Fijo versus Clayton Carpenter. I really like Clayton Carpenter's grappling. I think he's very solid. I thought he was very close to beating Tagir Ulanbekov had he just not made a couple of mistakes during the fight. I might have actually scored that for Carpenter at this point. I can't really remember anymore. It was a while back. It was 8 months ago, beginning of the year. Anyways, I think Clayton Carpenter's grappling is just a little bit better, better top control than the attacks off of Fijo's back. I just don't see him really attacking any submissions and actually getting close to a real submission threat on Clayton Carpenter. Although it could happen, to be fair. I'm not going to rule things out, but I just don't think that Jafel Fijo's submissions off his back are too threatening. Anyways, I am going to be picking Clayton Carpenter by decision on this fight. Moving on to Lucas Almeida versus Michael Aswell. This is one of those fights that's kind of tough to call. You know, I really don't know either of these fighters all that well. Lucas Almeida's lost what feels like almost every single UFC fight outside of fighting Timmy Kwamba. I'm going to pick Michael Aswell by decision. I really don't know either of those two fighters, so yeah. Ricardo Ramos versus Con Offley. We're moving up to the featherweight division. This is a fight I actually think Con Offley is going to get the job done here. He's pretty technical, pretty solid grappling. He's nothing super special. People were ramping him up to be the next Alexander Volkanovski when, I mean, that was obviously far from the truth. Like, you should have immediately seen that. But, anyways, this shit's bothering me like a motherfucker. I need to get this shit cut again. Anyways, Con Offley, I'm going to be picking him by submission. I think he's going to get the job done. Round number 2. I think his grappling will be the difference maker here. I just think that Con Offley's just the far better grappler out of the two. Ricardo Ramos losing by submission a couple times, just not a good sign when you're fighting a guy like Con Offley. Moving on to the main card. We were already on the main card. To the heavyweight division. We've got Janata Deniz versus Mario Pinto. I don't know who to go with in this fight because he took Alvin Hines to a decision, whereas he KO'd Austin Lane, which, like, same. I'm going to be picking the more experienced fighter in Janata Deniz to KO Mario Pinto. I think he should end up getting the job done. I think this will be one of those impressive performances. He is the more skilled kickboxer of the two, but Mario Pinto's a pretty big guy, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see how Deniz deals with that size. Anyways, I will be picking Janata Deniz by round 1 KO. I think he is the more technical of the two heavyweights, which actually just might be the problem. Maybe you just need to maraud forward at heavyweight sometimes. Moving on to the welterweight division, we've got Joel Alvarez fighting Vicente Luque. Terrified of this fight for Vicente Luque, and I do think there's a good reason for it. I think Joel Alvarez is going to land big strikes early, end up hurting Vicente Luque, stopping the takedowns, because he still looked really big at the weigh-ins. I just fear for Vicente Luque's health at this point, because he is one of these guys who has had some, like, pretty bad injuries in terms of, like, brain bleeding, if I'm not mistaken, and probably should have retired when he had that going on initially, but still around, has picked up some wins since that, but nothing super impressive. It's just one of those things. He just doesn't seem like the same Vicente Luque. He doesn't seem like he can take the same amount of punishment that he used to be able to take. It's sad because he used to be one of those true warrior mentality kind of guys, and he just now can't take that same punishment that he was able to before. And I think it's, like, fairly obvious. I think Joel Alvarez has a lot of experience, too, in high-level fights, and will end up catching Vicente Luque. Moving on to the co-main event of the evening, we've got Davidson Figueiredo fighting Montel Jackson. This is a close one, man, and I'm leaning Montel Jackson, but really I'm not sure. I'm only leaning Montel Jackson just because Davidson Figueiredo kind of bitched out of his last fight against Corey Sandhagen. See how it says knee injury? You don't really recover from knee injuries and be able to fight within 5 months if they're terrible, like a tear or anything. I think he just popped his knee and then didn't want to continue because he was concerned, but maybe this is too big of a step up for Montel Jackson, but I will be picking Montel Jackson by decision. I think he gets the job done here. I think he's the more technical of the two fighters. Maybe Davidson Figueiredo gets him down to the ground and submits him. That's a pretty live thing. I think it could happen in this fight, but I'm going to be picking Montel Jackson by decision. I think he kind of cruises on the feet to a decision, doesn't really get taken down or anything. Maybe even gets a finish. Moving on to the main event, we are up in the lightweight division. We've got Mateus Gamrot, who's stepping in on short notice to fight Charles do Bronx Oliveira. I will be picking Charles Oliveira by round number 2 submission. I think that he's going to catch him in a Darce choke, guillotine choke, rear naked choke. He's going to get the back. He's going to accomplish some type of choke. I don't think it's going to be a joint lock. I don't think it'll be a Kimura. I don't think it's going to be an armbar, heel hook, anything like that. Could be a leg lock potentially. But the strong wrestling base of Gamrot makes me think leg locks might not quite be in play. Anyways, I'm going to be picking Charles Oliveira by round 2 submission. These are going to be my picks. This is what I will be. I'll be going right back over them. I've got Charles Oliveira by submission, round number 2. Oh, I'll have to reopen them. Charles Oliveira by submission, round 2. Montel Jackson by decision. Joel Alvarez by KO, round 1. Mario Pinto, or Janato Diniz KOing Mario Pinto, round number 1. Con Offley getting a submission in round number 2. Michael Aswell getting a decision. Clayton Carpenter, decision. Vitor Petrino by KO, round number 1, which I think is pretty live. Submissions also there, just finish in general. I've got Beatrice Mesquita by submission, round 1. Stuart Nickel by KO, round 3. He's going to wear him down and KO him. Julia Pilastri by decision. Luan Lacerda by submission, round number 2. These are my fight picks. Like I said, all you have to do is what I'm about to do. Click save, and if you are in my Tapology group, all you have to do, join my Tapology group. Do exactly what I just did. You can make $100 per pay-per-view as long as you win my event. I will send it to you personally through Cash App, my own money. You guys have a great day. Like, comment, subscribe. Help out the Al Gore rhythm. And have a great rest of your day, guys. Enjoy the fights. They should be bangers. Looks like a fucking great card. Bye, guys.